make sure I get that dollar bill back.
Brent's gonna do the Furnace Street property. Brent is here to do the Furnace Street property.
Everybody ready? Huh? Did you have the pleasure of being here on Friday? St. Louis?
Yeah, I think we're a little bit.
They took time on that?
Jeez,
They passed it. On yours?
that was crazy. You gave a half-hour speech.
Okay.
Right.
Mr. Clerk, we'll begin the Planning Committee meeting of Akron City Council. This time, let's review the minutes of the previously held meeting. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. The ayes have it. Very good. On the regular list of legislation, don't really see anything here that we should address, short of any comments or concerns. We'll just go ahead and move on to the new list. First item is authorizing the acquisition of land located in Auburn Township containing approximately 8.5 acres in land area and known as Geauga County Permanent Parcel Number 0170925 from the Western Reserve Land Conservancy. Hello. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Hi. So this parcel is being donated. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Jessica Gluchewski from Watershed Superintendent.
Thank you.
Sorry. So this parcel is being donated by the Western Reserve Land Conservancy to the city. It is at Ladue Reservoir, adjacent to city-owned properties already on one of the two tribs that comes into Ladue Reservoir.
Very good. Good. Is there, was phase one done or any environmental assessments?
I'm not sure. It would have all been done through Western Reserve.
Okay. All right. Very good. I believe that was part of the agreement. Double check. I wanted to double check, but okay. Questions or comments? So in essence, they are donating the land, correct?
Yes, they're donating the land to the city with the $10,000 that covers the closing costs and title transfer.
All the expenses.
Right.
Right, the $10,000. So this is like free land and expenses to get it into our hands.
Correct.
So that's very good. That's good news. And this is, from time to time, we do this to protect our obviously our watershed, correct?
Yes. This would add a little bit more buffer to Ladue Reservoir up in Geauga County.
8.5 acres?
Approximately, yes.
Yes. Very good. Is there questions or comments from anyone? Ms. Mobian?
Are folks usually that generous to us to donate land that I'm assuming that, is there anything wrong with this property?
Not to my knowledge. Generally, the Western Reserve Land Conservancy, that's their mission, is to find properties and keep them kind of in a natural state. They do not own lands themselves, so they'll acquire lands when they can, and then they'll find a suitable landowner who will kind of preserve those lands for them.
And if there are trees on this property, we probably couldn't do anything
Right, there will be a conservation easement on this property that will protect it from any type of development. You know, we couldn't just go in and clear it, but it is, has a creek through it with relatively steep slopes, so it's not an area that we would develop anyway.
But I know you've been talking about cutting down some of the trees and I think selling the logs or whatever.
Right,
but
this
you couldn't
parcel
do
would
that.
be exempt, we would not be able to do that.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Very good. Further questions, Mr. Kilby?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So did I hear you say it's going to add 8.3 acres to the Ladue Reservoir eventually?
Yeah, it's 8.46, yes.
Okay, so how many acres is Ladue right now? Do you not have an idea?
I don't know exactly I don't want to give you a number that's wrong. I could get back with you.
I would guess maybe 1,000 or so. I've been up there a lot.
Probably closer to about 8,000.
8,000? Okay, that's big. All right. So I can't really tell from looking at this map, where is this exactly in relationship? I know
Sure.
the area, 422, 44, which...
This is to the west of 44 and south of 422. It is on the crossroads nearest, it is on Taylor May is the top
yeah,
road there.
Okay. So why do we want it? I mean, just add? I mean, I know we got a problem with what they call turbidity, so when we do all this stuff, is it going to add a lot of dirt to the reservoir?
The idea with parcels like this is that if we can prevent them from being developed,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know.
okay. That makes sense. So is it going to go right up to this road here?
Yeah, it goes kind of along the road there. Actually, it does border that road on its entire west side.
Okay. All right, real good, thanks.
Further questions or comments? Mr. Swirsky?
So it's going to be free of any timber cutting, is what you said?
Correct.
So we're not going to be cutting down trees?
Correct.
And you mentioned conservation easement. Could you explain that a little bit for everybody?
Sure. So part of what Western Reserve Land Conservancy does is they find parcels of land that are undeveloped that are either for sale or sometimes they negotiate them to be sold. And then when they do, like I said, they don't own land themselves, so they'll put a conservation easement on that property and then find somebody who will manage it to that conservation easement. And basically, just what that conservation easement just says, the specific requirements that either Western Reserve or the previous landowner wants us to follow. You know, that they don't want timbering, or they don't want development, they don't want active recreation or passive recreation, so they can change or vary depending on who writes the conservation easement. But the general idea is that the land does not get developed, it stays in a natural state.
And the benefit of having a buffer there?
So Ladue Reservoir on the, it is the headwaters right there, the Ladue Reservoir adjacent to city property already. So just adding to that buffer to try and protect Ladue, which is a secondary source. We send that water down to Lake Rockwell. So we try to keep all of our reservoirs as pollutant-free as possible. And so by controlling the lands directly around the tributaries into those reservoirs and the reservoirs themselves, we can kind of curtail excess pollution.
Okay, and so we're not going to be bringing in machinery through there to get to the trees that we are cutting in the other
No.
parcel? No machinery is allowed?
Nope. This parcel in particular does not lend itself to that kind of access for the most part. It's got some steeper slopes and that creek that does go through there.
And the purpose of this group, the Western Reserve Land Conservancy, I guess, is?
Their mission is to preserve natural areas. They're relatively local groups. They do a lot of their work in Ohio. And, you know, whenever they have the opportunity, they'll go in and find lands that either could use restored or lands that have value to be preserved, and then work towards preserving those lands.
Okay, great work. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Further questions? I'd like to ask council to, there's the agreement of purchase and sale, and they can review that. What is the consent agenda okay on this item?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good. That will give council an opportunity to review the agreement. So, thank you. Is there a recommendation for consent? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes do have it.
Thank you, Council members.
Thank you. 2 is approving and authorizing the execution of a redevelopment agreement with 55 Furnace Street Limited Liability Corporation or its designee redeveloper provided for the sale of property on Furnace Street for redevelopment pursuant to the downtown area redevelopment.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. There's 3 parcels on the corner of Ridge and Furnace that we have owned and have had to maintain, but are not developable or any use to the city. 55 Furnace LLC is acquiring the building at 55 Furnace, going to renovate it and use it for the home of Rubber City Arches headquarters, thereby keeping a $1.4 million payroll in Akron, growing a couple more jobs in the coming year, and establish a regional training facility for McDonald's in Northeast Ohio. So we are asking that you approve an agreement that allows us to transfer that land in behalf of their development and job retention.
Gotcha. So this is transfer of the land as well as a redevelopment agreement?
Yes.
Okay. Is there questions or comments? Mr. Neal?
Thank you. I'm just now having a chance to look through this. So we're saying transfer, not sale?
Correct. It's part of the agreement that if they would redevelop, put probably $600 and something thousand into the building, bring their headquarters there, establish their training facility there, that we would make this a more appropriate site. This continues in the development of the north side, complements the current hotel development and things in that area. So we see this and takes it off of our maintenance responsibilities. So.
I'm looking at the map. I'm not 100% sure where this is. I just, I mean, I know there's...
It's a little less than a half an acre, all 3 parcels combined. It fronts the street there.
Is there a site, or not so much a site plan, but like an aerial map of the area with location of the actual property itself?
I'm not sure what you've been given.
We do not?
No, we don't have that one.
How many do you got?
I think they have that.
Do you have another one?
Yes. Talking about.
Right. Down there, where you, all that has value.
Upside down.
Yeah, it still has some value.
Mr. Chair,
It doesn't seem to have a... Okay, are you done? You good? Samovian?
I'm just curious. On this map, you said proposed sale. This is a donation to these folks? What do we call this?
Well, you can call it a donation. We wrote it up for Planning Commission as a donation as part of a understanding that if we donated this land, they would purchase, renovate, bring the world headquarters, retain the $1.4 million, increase jobs there by at least a couple over the next couple of years, and establish a training facility there.
And this is the NSC Commercial Interiors? What am I looking at? I see the 55 Furnace Street LLC, but NSC Commercial Interiors is already there on Furnace Street?
Yes, this is
behind it.
Actually, I don't know what you're referring to, so I don't know, but I think that's an existing business there, isn't it? Yeah, that is an existing business, right?
Am I looking at the right?
Yeah, that's just an existing business that's there, so when our map guys drew this up, they just show what's existing around that.
So the other one is going kind of behind that one?
That's correct.
Okay. And they're bringing in, they are currently in Summit County or Akron?
Yes, they are, and they're going to stay here. I mean, they own
expanding?
many McDonald's in Northeast Ohio, so this will be bringing trainees in for the training facility, as well as maintaining their existing headquarters that does exist here in Akron now.
So what is the outfit on Thornton Street that we are creating a space for? Is that a McDonald's?
Yes.
That is an actual McDonald's, okay. And these folks do the training for the McDonald's personnel, is that what you're saying?
For their franchises, correct.
Okay.
Actually, I'm not sure it has to be limited to their franchises, but I know it is for their franchises.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions or comments? I can just say, this is not, in terms of the developers here, the McDonald's, I can't remember the exact name of the developers.
Rubber City Arches is
Thank you.
the overall name of the establishment here in Akron. The
Thank you.
55 LLC is just what they would buy this and purchase and hold this
Understand,
land.
thank you. But the developers here that were, this legislation asked to enter into an agreement with, they have a track record here in our city in terms of, doing what they say they're going to do, and being quite successful. Obviously, the McDonald's franchises are quite successful, but I do know the Rubber City Arches folks, they do a real good job, and it's not, it's typically done professionally, and for example, I know many years ago, the building out there on West Market Street, behind the McDonald's, right before you get to Highland Square on the left side, that was guessing
original-
similar to this. It was
Yes, and in fact, that then went to use for the Akron Public Schools as their swing space. You're exactly right, that's the
It
same
eventually
word.
went to APS, but that particular building there, they did it right, and it was utilized for their intended use, and it evolved into now the Akron Public Schools zone. So, like I said, they have a track record of doing very good work, and so I think this is something that makes a lot of sense. So, very good. Further questions or comments? Is the consent agenda okay on this?
Perfect, yes.
That will give council time to review, because attached to this, and let's make sure everyone gets a copy of this aerial map, as well as this one. I want to make sure everybody knows, because the parcel itself that we're asking for it's like an L-shaped, and it doesn't really seem to...
Yeah, no, there's nothing that can be done with it. We just
Yeah.
have to keep mowing it and maintaining it. This way, it allows for an expansion of their lot.
Exactly. This is like assemblage. They're assembling land in order to be able to go forward with the development. But it also includes a redevelopment agreement, which is what we need to pay attention to as well. So I'd ask council to look that over, and I'm also going to ask for a recommendation for consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. The ayes have it. Thank you. There's nothing else to come before the committee. Thank you. We're adjourned.